Greetings builders! We're only a few weeks away from the second part of PoE 2 Early Access, where we're going to have an economy reset, power balance and a lot of new content. Today's video is to share with you the 12 builds I had the most fun playing during those last months. And of course, this is my personal preference and I'd love if you share with me your own list in the comments below. If you wanna try any of those builds, you can find the complete guides in the first comments or in the video description. And if this video helps you, please leave a thumbs up to support the channel. Thank you very much, and let's get into it! On place number 12, I have the super fast and strong Flicker Strike Invoker with the Monk class. If you come from Path of Exile 1, you know that Flicker Strike is one of the favorite builds out there. It consists on consuming power charges to teleport your character from pack to pack of enemies, leaving a long trail of destruction along the way. To list the pros of this build, I don't even know where to start. It's super fast, tanky and can kill big bosses in seconds. It just has it all. Another good thing to point out is that it doesn't need any mandatory unique item. Now to list the cons, I must say that unlike PoE 1, here we can't keep flickering forever. We need to stop to stack power charges from time to time. But don't worry, when this happens we're going to use Ice Strike, that is also a great and fast skill. Talking about the budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying low tier maps with only around 35 exalteds. To advance to mid tier maps I recommend around 80 exalteds, and for the high tier around 4 divines. This might look a little expensive, but before advancing to high tier maps you're going to drop a lot of exalted orbs on low tier ones. Don't forget that on poebuilds.net you can find a list with all the equipment that you need to buy for this build, with direct links for examples being sold by other players. For clear speed, I'll give this build 10 out of 10. Flicker Strike is so fast that you're going to take more time getting the loot from the floor than killing the monsters themselves. It's amazing and satisfying. The boss damage is awesome and deserves 9 out of 10. You just need to place the bell close to bosses and your Ice Strike will do tons of damage. It's the kind of build where you can do lots of DPS with low investment. For the survivability, I'll also give it 9 out of 10. Here you have over 70% chance to evade, 65% armor and even a big energy shield. When the build's complete, it's hard to die even on high tier maps. Next, on 11th place, I chose the Explosive Shot Witch Hunter with the Mercenary class. Explosive Shot already has a big arrow effect, but when combined with the Heralds of Ice, Ash and Thunder, we get this profusion of elements where your fire can shock, your cold can ignite and your lightning can freeze. It's just very satisfying to play. To visit the pros of this build, I would start of course with the clear speed. You only need one shot to explode all the enemies of your screen, and you also get a good amount of movement speed on your passive tree. The single target damage is also amazing and can kill tier 15 bosses pretty quickly and with a lot of style. Now to visit the cons, I have to start saying that you need to get used to the way we do single target damage on this build. You need to quickly change between rounds and buffs to get the best out of your combo. But don't worry, after some tries the muscle memory will take place and it won't be hard at all. Another issue is that even though this build has many defensive layers, armor is not one of them. So if a physical hit passes your evasion, it will take a lot of your HP. Talking about the budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying low tier maps with only around 60 exalteds. To advance to mid tier maps I recommend around 100 exalteds, and for the high tier around 6 divines. This might look expensive, but before advancing to high tier maps you're going to drop a lot of exalted orbs on low tier ones. You only need one mandatory unique item for this build, the Three Dragons Helmet, that not only grants up to 20% to all elemental resistance, but also allows your Explosive Shot to shock and your Shock Burst rounds to freeze. For clear speed I'll give this build 10 out of 10. It's incredibly satisfying to explode huge amounts of monsters with only one click. You can farm many tier 15 maps per hour with this one. The single target damage is amazing and deserves 9 out of 10. We have Shock Burst rounds to do a lot of damage to enemies after shocking them with Explosive Shot. I only took one point out because the huge damage only works while the enemy is shocked, which means that with big bosses that have over 2 million life, you need to reapply the shock with Explosive Shot before starting another round of high damage. For the survivability I'll give it 9 out of 10. This build has a lot of evasion and a barrier that can protect you from elemental damage. The only issue is that we have no armor, If physical damage passes your evasion, it can take a lot of your HP. And finally, in 10th place, we have the super fun Demon Form Infernalist with the Witch class. This build relies on life regeneration per second and life regenerated when damage taken to sustain hundreds of stacks of Demon Flame, that not only grants 25% increased cast speed and +6 to level of all spell skills, but also over 4000% increased spell damage. To list the pros of this build, I'll start saying that the clear speed is awesome. You're super fast, flying around the map and casting loads of spells. It's really satisfying. Not only that, but as you can imagine, with this much increased spell damage, bosses die just like simple monsters. It's just too much damage. Now to list the cons, I'll start saying that the survivability of this build isn't good. You do damage to yourself in many different ways. And if you're not used to the gameplay, you're going to die to your own damage many times. Another issue is that your damage relies on Demon Flame stacks, and sometimes you just have to wait some seconds for them to accumulate. Another issue is how hard and expensive it is to build. You need to get a lot of life regeneration and maximum fire resistance on your Jewels for you to survive. About the budget, as I just said, this build is expensive. You need at least 10 Divine Orbs to make it work. You need 2 mandatory unique items for this build. The first is the Ghost Rife Body Armor that converts 50% of your life into Energy Shield. Having a low life is essential for you to be able to sustain as many Demon Flame stacks as possible. And next, and for the same reason, we need to equip 2 Minx Heart that grants up to 24% reduced maximum life each. For clear speed, I'll give this build 10 out of 10. Your Flame Blast almost covers the whole screen and it's followed by a shower of comets while you fly from pack to pack of monsters. It's awesome to play. The single target damage is also amazing, deserves 10 out of 10. You have so much damage that you can deal millions of damage per second while keeping bosses frozen into place. This one is a true destroyer. Now for the survivability, I'll give it 6 out of 10. You can only rely on your energy shield and your life regeneration to keep you alive, and on top of that you constantly deal damage to yourself. I confess that I died a lot until getting the gist of it. If you don't mind your energy shield and keep using your flask from pack to pack, you are going to die. And that's it for today, guys. You can check the other parts of this top 12 in the first comment or in the video description. And what about you? Have you tried any of those builds? Please don't forget to tell me in the comments and leave a thumbs up to support the channel. I wish you guys an amazing day, and don't forget to keep building!